Do you think this idea that I read a lot about this sort of stuff is that women tend to kind of deflect the recognition, but acknowledge or then criticize themselves when they get things wrong, whereas men tend to take the credit for things that go right and potentially blame circumstances for things when they go wrong? It's kind of a bit more of a an overconfident. I'm not saying that men don't have this imposter syndrome, because they do, but they don't tend to have the self-criticism that we have. Where does that come from?
I think for me, you know what, you're absolutely right. And there is a type of bias around that self-serving bias. And typically it would be the other way around as it is for men, where you would assume that everything good that comes to you comes because of your abilities. And then you'd assume that everything bad that happens to you happens because of other people. And I think that sometimes as women, we flip it and we would assume that when anything doesn't go right, it's definitely something that I've experienced in my life. It's just that I keep telling my husband, I feel like I blame myself for everything. And then I'm like, but there are moments my brain, even my good old brain, is saying to me, that wasn't your fault. Not really. So I think that part of it is around the stories and the myths around women in leadership and what it means to be a woman with a voice or a strong woman. There are so many negative stereotypes attached to that
what are those stereotypes?
Oh, maybe like you're a man eater, or you're someone who dominates men, or you're not controllable, you don't know your place, or you're a bit too much. People don't like you. You might do a good job, but you're aggressive.
Yeah. Emotional.
Yes, you're emotional. You're too pushy. You're a bit of a.
What about okay? So here's the thing: is women. How do we feel around? Because even most of the stuff that I've been doing with you and I've seen you do is with other women. And whilst I think you're probably more comfortable, perhaps, to put yourself in the spotlight, is there a sense of not still wanting to take the limelight as a woman amongst other women?
I think it's that balance of making sure that it's not all about you. Yeah. And that's always a guilt that comes with success.
Yeah.
You feel, oh, how can I create opportunities for other people so that it's not about me? And that's something that's really, really powerful, because I don't know whether it's imposter syndrome again, but I've definitely spoken to enough female leaders to know that I'm not the only one who sees that and feels that way. It's just that at what point do you feel, but you also have to live up to the call of your destiny, right? You have to be called to be. You have to really rise up to that challenge.
Notice I sat up there.
She's like, you have to, but also you have to create opportunities for other people to do exactly that, so that it's more communal.
Okay, so you've suffered from this, Finn. I honestly can tell you that the voice of Aduke has got stronger. Since I met you, you were quite quiet. And now you certainly found your voice, and you don't seem to let anything stop you putting yourself forward. You have kind of found the courage in spite of your fears. So why is that? What's driving you?
I think that for me, I finally got to the point where I recognized that I will always be who I am. And even a lot of me not really talking or being really repressed was from, in all honesty, the fear of putting people off.
Right.
I didn't want people to think it was about me, and I always wanted people to not be judgmental, and say, oh, because I know that I can be quite assertive, I'm very, I know that about myself, but I've grown up to kind of just manage that a little bit, because again, of those negative stereotypes I just talked about, them sometimes attached to women who are quite strong, opinionated, or assertive. So I think that for a while there, I was kind of balancing, oh my God, should I say something or should I say something? I'm going to keep quiet now. And then it kind of dawned on me a couple of years ago that even if I keep quiet, I'm still going to say something that would show my true color. You know, you can't, you at some point, your authenticity would come out, even if you're trying to manage it and cover it and all of that. And so then I started to look at some of the things that I've done in my life and look at some of the common themes. And I realized that actually, I think you're an amazing person. I actually told myself that. You know, I stood in front of the mirror and I
Wow.
actually said, you're a brilliant person. You know, I kind of listed out some of the things that I had done that even I felt wowed by. And I think from that point on, I started to give myself license to enjoy being me.
You gave
Rather,
yourself permission.
yes, rather than running away from who I was, I kind of collided with myself. And I kind of figured myself a mask. You know, in the middle, I was saying this to one of my friends. It was like in the middle of my life, I met myself. And then I gave her a big hug and I said, wow, you're amazing. Now let's do this.
I love that.